This conference will now be recorded.
Hello, my name is Trevor Leahy. I'm the Small Business Ombudsman with the Oregon Secretary of State's office. I work for the Office of Small Business Assistance. We're a team that helps businesses get answers to their questions and navigate the government. Today, we are pleased and honored to be joined by Tom Herring and Marianne Harmer. They are benefit corporations for good, and they're going to give us some information about benefit companies and how they work and what you can expect if you are interested in becoming a benefit company. So with that, I'm going to turn the presentation over to them. Tom, Marianne.
Awesome.
Thank you. Thank you, Trevor.
Thanks, Trevor. Really appreciate it. I would, first of all, really like to thank Trevor and the Office of Small Business Assistance through the Oregon Secretary of State's office. We are delighted and really it's a joy for us to be with the state and helping the small business segment here, not only here, but around the country. Today, we are going to be talking some of the reasons why you should become an Oregon benefit company. And it's a pretty powerful concept right now. And it's part of not only a statewide movement, but a national and international movement about businesses now taking on more of a approach where there's not just a single bottom line, but there's a triple bottom line. And we will talk a little bit about that as we go through our presentation today. And our intent really is to just inform you, to be to help enlighten you in whatever way possible. And we are going to be offering anybody on this call or listens to this presentation an opportunity to just get our book, which Marianne will talk to you more about in a little bit, but it is a great kind of a how-to book for those that are interested into becoming an Oregon benefit company, and more importantly, some of the reasons why. So to get started, I want to play a 2-minute video here that we've produced, and then we'll launch into the presentation. So I'm going to switch over here for a minute, so bear with me. So the kind of sums up some interesting stats and some of the reasons why businesses are becoming Oregon benefit companies. And Oregon Benefit Company is also it's also, you could be said, as a benefit corporation. And Marianne will get into a little more of the specifics on why those are different. But just to tell you the basic statement in the legislation that was passed by the state of Oregon when Governor Brown was Secretary of State, January of 2014, the statement is this: the purpose is to create a general public benefit, which is defined as a, quote, a material positive impact on society and the environment, taken as a whole from the business and operations of the company, which kind of is hitting on this triple bottom line that I referred to earlier. It's not just a business that's in business and operating for profit. It is a business that's operating for people, planet, and profit. And to just give you a few quick notes here to tell you how big this is, this movement. So right now, I checked on the Secretary of State's site earlier this morning, and there are just about 2,700 Oregon benefit companies registered at this point in time. There are about 2,500 certified B Corps, which many of you have probably heard about, in 50 countries. And of those, 135 are certified B Corps in Oregon. And I'll take it down one final level here. We have certified 46, and will be 47 this afternoon, benefit corporations for good. So there is interest, there is desire. People want to do better, and they want to be in business because they want to have an impact on the world around them. I'm going to start with this simple quote that was in the New York Times front page of the business section on, you can see down there at the bottom, January 15th, 2018. So a little over 2.5 years ago. And the statement, as you can read, is society is demanding that companies, both public and private, serve a social purpose. To prosper over time, every company must not only deliver financial performance, but also show how it makes a positive contribution to society. And the attribution, of course, there is to Larry Fink, who is the founder and CEO of BlackRock. And for those of you who don't know, BlackRock is the single largest investment company in the world. They have over almost 6.5 trillion, well, that's with the T, in assets on behalf of investors worldwide. So there is kind of the mantra, the lecture, the statement from the top. And if you're hearing it from them, then you got to think it's trickling down and getting to the rest of the world.
Okay, so I'm going to jump in here. This is Marianne. So Tom actually the video initially introduced, why this is really critical at this point in time between climate warming and just social justice issue, that it's time for business to step up and be at the table and play a part in rectifying some of these issues. And so thus, as Tom alluded to again, across the country, 34 states, they have adopted this legislation. Well, it's exciting. Oregon was one of the first ones. And what Oregon did, though, is this was now a movement. This was now being, across the country, legislatures were proposing that this be a new model for business. But Oregon, along with Maryland, were the two states that said, we want this movement, this business model, to also be available to small businesses, LLCs. And so these benefit corporations in 2 states, and we're lucky in Oregon here that we're one of the ones, it's not just available to a C Corp or to any other business, but it's available also to LLCs. Now, what's interesting is in Oregon, because of that, we are calling them benefit companies. So benefit corporations are available in 34 states. 2 states make them available to LLCs. And in Oregon, we call it a benefit company, but it's really the same thing. I want you just to be aware of that. So you'll see us reference benefit companies. That's what we call it in Oregon. But in other states, it's called a benefit corporation. So just a little background information. But meanwhile, here's this picture here of Tom and I in front of this dog. This was a Labrador, actually. We were at Lucky Lab 2 years ago. We both have a few more gray hairs between what's happening in our country and the pandemic and everything else. But we launched Benefit Corporations Good about this time, and it was part of launching our book, Putting Soul into Business. And when we say putting soul into business, that you'll be able to read, because we'll make it available to you as a digital copy at the end of this workshop. But it's about how the Benefit Corporation is actually transforming American business for good. Okay, so we started 2 years ago, launched this book, and the idea was that we wanted to be evangelists for this movement. Meanwhile, the state of Oregon was very excited about benefit companies here in the state and the growing interest in them. But one of the requirements of being a benefit company is that you be certified. And that's basically a third party looking at who you are and saying, yes, indeed, you really are a cause-driven or a business that you want to, of course, make profit, but you also want to do it for the commons, for the common good. And they recognized that they did not have a local state-owned certifier. So they came to us, they'd read our book, and they said, would you be interested in becoming a third-party certifier for small businesses that are interested? And we said, well, that's exciting, because we love small businesses. They're the backbone of this state. They're the backbone of our country. And so we worked with them and created an assessment tool, which, as Tom talked about, we now have certified 47 companies. And the idea is that we would come in and we would look at that company and ask them questions around people, planet, and profit to be sure that they were going to walk the talk. So we were really excited about that. This is something that's been near and dear to our hearts for a long time. We both came from a marketing, branding perspective. We've worked a lot with nonprofits, and we felt like what was missing again at the table was the business world. And so we really were excited that we were kind of chosen by the state of Oregon, and they reviewed all of our assessment questions and so forth, but we were chosen to be the statewide certifier for benefit corporations. Now, there's also other entities that can certify small businesses that are interested in becoming a benefit company. B Lab, which is the one you've probably heard about, B Corp. They're the ones with the red circle and the B. They're known throughout the world. It's an amazing kind of an organization, but it's very much oriented towards mid and larger size companies that you have to have quite a bit of infrastructure in place to go through their certification. It's a little bit more expensive because of that. It takes a lot of time. And so we work actually with B Lab and the B Corp folks, but they realize that for small businesses who want to start that journey and want to become certified, that this might be a good option to be certified through Benefit Corporations for Good. So what we do basically is we certify small businesses. You've heard me say that. But we also really do a lot of education, which is why we're here today. We have worked with the Small Business Development Center, and we've done workshops around the state in Bend, Medford, Corvallis, just basically oriented people to understand that this is a business model that might fit. This might be something that resonates with some of you because you really want to ensure your business thrives economically, but you also, in doing that, want to give back. And so we call ourselves, ambassadors, evangelists. So our biggest goal is that we want to promote the idea that businesses can do good. And in that process, if you do become a benefit company, then we can help you get certified. And so that really is your way of stating to your customers, to your partners, to the community, that indeed you honestly and sincerely take this to heart and are doing activities and services that service the better good, the commons. So again, we're excited that we have these 46 companies that have jumped on I've said this several times, jumped on the train. It's moving forward, and they represent legal services. They represent, in our case, many vineyards and wine companies. We've got a lot of them. It's interesting. Marketing companies. We have service-oriented companies. We have product-oriented companies, from protein shakes to plant shops. It's just really exciting to see across the board, across all industries, people are saying, yes, this fits for me. So what you'll learn today is we're going to tell you a little bit more about the business case. I've already shared a little bit about the difference between B Corp, benefit companies, and benefit corporations. Talk a little bit more about the movement itself. So let me just share a couple other things about the business case. So for many of us, it's just like, it makes sense. Of course, why wouldn't I give back to the community while I'm making money? I mean, that makes sense. But in today's world, Tom's going to share some statistics. The new customer is buying from companies that are cause driven. They are choosing to work for companies that are cause driven. So that literally a company that is socially and environmentally responsible actually gains an edge in recruitment, in retention. They have more credibility, and they're differentiated because they have social and environmental activities that show their responsibility. Even investors, as Tom shared in that article, they're looking for companies that are demonstrating social and environmental responsibility with this at their core, at the core of their business. It enhances your brand equity to say that you're a benefit corporation, that you have a sustainability policy, that you believe in green practices, that you believe in social justice. That really enhances your brand equity. And there's lots of stats that actually back this up. There's a brand ranking that evaluates a company's brand score. And they said the average brand rank for consumer companies is about a 5, but benefit companies are scoring a 9 or a 10 on brand ranking. So when you just think about that stat in terms of just your ability not only to do what you believe is the right thing to do, but actually to be branded more strongly because you're doing that. Sales momentum, Nielsen analyzed the sales of B Corp, and they found that most companies see maybe a 15% growth in sales over the past, I don't know with COVID, this is pre-COVID, where B Corps and benefit corporations see actually 49% growth just in sales. Once more, it's because consumers know that it's time for us all to collaborate and be in this together and create healthy communities, businesses, churches, schools, nonprofits, the state. If we do it together in collaboration, which again is at the heart and soul of a benefit corporation, then all of us are going to be healthier, and our cities and our communities will thrive. So there's lots of data to support why it makes sense, why there is actually a benefit case for this. So it's like, for us, that's why Tom said, how many did you say? 2,700 now in Oregon have been registered, I think.
Yes.
Yeah. And so that's why there's such an adoption of this. And we just want to be there to support these businesses and help them tell their customers a story that we're more than just profit, that we do believe in people and planet. So those are, just kind of gives you an overview of some of the rationale behind becoming a benefit company, the business case for it. As I mentioned, there's sometimes confusion between benefit company, benefit corporation, B Corp. What you have to remember is that B Corp, when you hear the word B Corp, that means they've been certified by B Lab. And that's the one, again, that's oriented towards larger businesses. So that's one of the biggest distinctions. And then benefit corporations and benefit companies are basically the same thing. The only difference is that Oregon Benefit Company is available to smaller companies, LLCs. So did I miss anything, Tom? I think I kind of went through that quickly.
You did great, Marianne. Yes.
Great.
So what we typically do, as Marianne referenced earlier, we have done workshops pre-COVID all over the state. We've been in the community of Lebanon, Hood River, Bend, Baker City, LeGrand, Beaverton. And we put on an hour workshop, kind of like what you're getting here. This is a little more condensed, but the idea is to share our message. And as Marianne said earlier, we really are evangelists for this movement, and we just want to inform people about what it means and whether that business chooses to go this route or not. That's totally up to the leaders of that particular business. But what we do in these workshops is that we have we test the audience's knowledge, and a lot of the stuff you will know, but we use a lot of metrics, and we do a multiple choice 18 question test, and then we share through what the answers are, etc. So in light of today, we're just going to do 4. And I'm going to just read these to you, but this will give you kind of an idea. This will continue to build, I think, on the business case. As you think about not only customers, but think about all your stakeholders. So think about your employees, think about community members, think about key influencers in your communities. So the first question is, what % of boomers are worried about exposure to poor air and water quality? And there are three possibilities. And the first one is 66% are worried. The second one is 55% is worried, and the third one is 30% is worried about that. And I think you probably figured out, obviously, it's 66% is the answer. They're 2/3 of every of the entire boomer generation that are very concerned. And of course, think about it. They have grandkids, or they have younger kids that are in their community, so they're very concerned about this planet being environmentally healthy, and we've got a ways to go on that, as all of you know on that. The second question that we pulled from our 18 is, what percentage of millennials believe companies should help address social and environmental issues? And the first answer is 66%. The second one is 79%. And the third one, C, is 87%. And of course, that is the answer, 87%. And these are coming from some very highly reputable, well-known research firms. The first one that I referenced for the boomers was from Nielsen, and that was in 2015. And I'm sure those numbers are up considerably, because that's 5 years old. And then the one I just gave you from about millennials is from Cone Communications, which was in 2017. And for those of you who have not heard of Cone, they have been a communications and research firm that has studied the millennial generation for a decade now. So they are very steep in the buying behaviors, the values, how millennials think and what they believe. The third question, what percentage of boomers look for energy efficient labels? Is it A, 48%? Is it B, 54%? Or is it C, 59%? And again, it's the last one. It's C, it's 59%. So 6 of 10 boomers believe in energy efficiency in their lives and the products that they're buying. And that's a more current a research study done by Forrester, another well-known business entity, and that was in 2019. Finally, the last one, what percentage of millennials will change their buying habits to reduce their impact on the environment? And there are 3 possibilities here. One is A, 59%, B, 66%, or C, 75%. And again, it's the C, 75%. So 3 of 4 millennials are going to change their buying habits to reduce their impact on the environment. That's what they believe in. And that was from a Nielsen, back to Nielsen again, and a study done in 2018. As you're hearing here, we are really just highlighting millennials and boomers right now. And the reason is really simple. They're the 2 largest demographics right now in the United States. And so to see what they're thinking about kind of solves, it shows the concerns of this, of these problems that we have. And actually, I'm going to throw in a fifth here just to give you one other one, because this is one I think that you're going to really like. And the question that we have been asked the most in any single workshop we have done in our 2.5 years since Marianne and I've been doing this work is this. Is there a tax advantage for becoming an Oregon benefit company? And the answer is no, and then a pause, not yet. And what we mean by that and what we are seeing are in other benefit corporation states. And I'm going to give you two: the state of Illinois, and particularly Cook County, and the state of California and Los Angeles County. Both those counties are now offering purpose-driven businesses. So if you're a certified B Corp, or you are you have some other certification behind you as a purpose-driven business, that you'd have a stakeholders approach to the work you do, you receive extra points when you are going after county business with your request for proposal. So we think that is only a matter of time before that happens, certainly in Multnomah County, and we think the state possibly that could be another factor. So anyway, those are some of the key. We are more than happy, if any of you want to email us afterwards, we're more than happy to send you our the other 14 questions that go with this. But it's very enlightening to see all the things that are going on right now. So anyway, with that said, we're going to talk a little bit more. Marianne is going to start off a little bit more about the business case. So.
Again, as we talked about the business case, what you have to remember is that every day businesses, they hire, businesses sell, businesses brand, businesses partner. And how do you make that, how do you open those doors? I think that's the bottom line. How do you open those doors? Because those are operations that every small business, large business has to do. And what we are saying, the major business case behind becoming a benefit company is that those doors open for you in today's world. With as I mentioned, the millennials and the boomers, again, those two actually generations now hold most of the money also in the country. They hold more money than any other generation. And so they are now realizing that for all those stakeholders to resonate with them, to again open those doors, they have to demonstrate that they're going to talk the walk about building healthy communities together. So that's basically the summation of the business case that I talked about earlier, is that it is the ability to say, I'm in this with you. We are in this together. We all want to create businesses that we can support our families and we can live comfortably. But at the same time, we realize it's no longer about I, and it's about we doing this together. Because if I grow my business and I help the community, you grow your business, it's much more of what we call the social sharing economy, that together, this is going to be the way out. And so, I mean, I've shared with you already some stats around the business case in terms of specific brand equity, in terms of like, the ability to hire. But ultimately, it comes down to, it's about us creating together a healthier community, and that this is the way that you can open doors, because it will resonate with the new consumer. It'll resonate with the new partner. It'll resonate with the community. So ultimately, it really is a new business model. And again, 34 states now offer this. That has to be part of the business case. So wherever you go, people are now talking about benefit corporations. And we think that eventually it'll be all 50 states. We have gotten requests from Mexico, from Ecuador. We've gotten requests from Argentina, people that know us that are here in the States. Can you take this model even internationally? Because it is not what you do just as a single individual. It's that individual and the ripple effect it has on other businesses and other communities and countries. So it's, the train has left the station. That's the ultimate, I guess, answer is the train has left the station. That is the business case. And so it's really important that you get on the bus, you get on the train. And I think you'll find that a lot of you probably are on the bus, on the train, because you already are believe in some of these values, and you already are. It's in your DNA. You already are committed to doing good for the community. What's so exciting about becoming, though, an incorporated benefit company in Oregon or a benefit corporation in other states is that you can now do this as a legitimate and credible business entity. So once more, in our book, and you're going to get a digital copy, there are 11 interviews from thought leaders, and they actually share their business case for becoming a benefit company, because we ask them those questions. What has it done for you? Why are you doing this? And so they ultimately are providing the answers to the business case. And so it's quite intriguing. And again, they range from a print shop to a company back in Maryland that makes soap for underdeveloping countries to consulting firms. But they have answered the business case in their words. So I'm excited for you to get that. And you can also learn more of their rationale for becoming a benefit corporation. So I think that's it, Tom.
Yeah, Marianne, let me just tag on to that, on that idea that I was going to mention this at the very end, but something that is very relevant, I think, to anybody that's listening to this at this point in time. And that is, we have on our website, benefitcorporationsforgood.com, there are, I believe, 11 to 12 now different interviews with various businesses we've certified, why they did it and what it has meant to them and their stakeholders. And they're very concise, short answers. I think there's consulting firms, there's products, products-based businesses, service businesses. I think I would encourage any of you that are still on the fence or what you want to do is to go and listen to read some of those blogs. They're very interesting and I think very compelling, actually. So as we get here to the end, we're going to leave you with a few more stats here, as if you haven't heard enough, but I think it's more that business people tend to be very metrics driven to begin with. So I think these are really important to reveal to you. And these are what we call 3 unforgettable numbers. And the first one is basically states that 75% of millennials, if you're an employer, this is very important, 75% of millennials would choose to work for a responsible company, even for less money. And that's versus the average of the US of 55%. And that was again from College Communication. 88% say their job is more fulfilling when they are provided opportunities to make a positive impact on social or environmental issues. And that's from 2017, and that also is Cone as well. And then the third one, 90% of millennial women will buy a product with social or environmental benefit given the opportunity. And that again is from a 2015 study done by Cone Communications. And then the last one really that we do talk about, and you saw that in our intro and the video, we think it's such a powerful and compelling statement. And this was done by Nielsen in 2015, so you can only imagine this has increased considerably. But this is this international movement that we're talking about. It's just not here in our community, it's just not here in our state. It's all over the country and it's all over the world, and it has the potential to go in other continents right now. And this is 66% of global online consumers across 60 countries are willing to pay more for products and services by companies that are committed to positive social and environmental change across all income brackets. Pretty compelling. So really what we kind of want to leave you with is this quote that we love. It's a native proverb, and it simply says, "The frog does not drink up the pond in which he lives. And I think this kind of is hinting at taking better care of our environment, taking better care of our employees, taking better care of our community. We think this is basically a beautiful summation of what this benefit company movement is all about. Before we get into questions, which we're more than happy to answer, as we mentioned, Marianne mentioned earlier, there is a free copy of our book, a digital copy we'd be more than happy to send you, Putting Soul into Business, How the Benefit Corporation is Transforming American Business for Good. And if you just email me at tom@benefitcorporationsforgood.com, I'll make sure you get that as soon as possible. And I think really the only other thing to tell you is that there are tons of other free resources we have. We have the free sniff test on our website, which is a series of about 11 or 12 questions. It's free. It's on our homepage at the bottom of the page, and you're able to go through this battery of questions and just see if you as a company and you as a leader of that company are a good fit to pursue this route. And so with that said, we are happy to take any questions that anybody might have at this point.
Thanks, Tom. Thank you to both of you for the presentation. I'm going to take over the screen for a moment just so I can make sure people have a way to connect with our office if they have questions. If you need help getting in touch with Tom or Marianne, you can contact our office. I'll put our information on the screen in just a moment. Tom, you might have to stop sharing.
Let's see. Okay, let's see. That is, I'm looking right now. Oh, stop. There we go.
All right, and so this is how you get in touch with me and my team. If you have any questions about this presentation, or if you need help understanding what you would need to do to become a benefit company, or if you need help getting in touch with Tom or Marianne, you can call our team. Our toll-free number is 844-469-5512. You can email us at business.sos@oregon.gov. This presentation will be posted on our website. If you need the link, you can find it at oregon.gov/smallbusiness and click on the link at the top that says virtual training. And so with that, I'm going to end the presentation, and Tom and Marianne will be available for any questions after I stop the recording. Thank you.